Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the arse of the subscription button as well. And remember to chokehold that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. I would like to reach out and say a huge thank you to those of you who have supported Cryptids Roost financially with your sponsorship. We pray the good Lord replenishes you abundantly, and to those of you who will, later on. We pray the good Lord bless you as you do so. And also a huge thank you to everyone for always supporting the channel with your likes, comments and shares as well. It is all very much appreciated. God bless you all. I have now implemented the auto-generated subtitles option in as many videos as possible. This will help all of our hard of hearing listeners, so I hope this helps. Enjoy. And why not hashtag cryptidsroost in your comments. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. The Guardian. This awesome series is written by FREDDEGRAN, a wonderful author over on Reddit. If you would like to read more of his works, the Reddit link to his profile will be below in the description. Chapter 11. Zombie Slaying. Tobias, yes, I know. I will come to the council in the capital ASAP and take the young guardians with me. Ivana, you will come too. But Paul, you will stay and guard this school. Paul was not happy. But... No ifs or buts. Shut up and do as you're told. Robert reprimanded the boy in a harsh tone. Nils, Elena, Nicholas, Ivana and Robert all jumped in the electric tank, with two demon familiars coming with them. The rock golem did not follow as it was cut in half. If I ever get a familiar, I will take better care of it than you, Elena. You already lost two. Nicholas was mocking her. Shut up. At least I did not get turned into a vampire, she told her friend. Of course you're not. You are an angel, Nils screamed. Fuck, all my friends are angels or vampires. Maybe I'm a demon. He laughed. I doubt it. And shut up and play nice, kids. Robert was tired of the children bickering. What will happen now? Nils asked Robert. We are going to the capital. I must speak with the council for breaking the rules. All the slayers must be mad now. Is Tobias a slayer like you? Robert laughed. No, he is not a slayer, and trust me, he is nothing like me. He has magic powers, but teleportation is mostly useless in a fight. He is like a delivery boy was in the old world. Must suck to be him, Nicholas said, and everyone in the tank, Slayer, Guardian and Demons joined each other in laughter. Yep, we are heading for the capital, but first a detour. There is a necromancer who needs slaying at the cemetery. A demon? Elena said. I'm afraid not. It's Bertil, a human who sold his soul to the devil for power. He wanted to meet his family after they were killed by demons, along with his entire village. The tank was parked at the cemetery after driving for a while, and his team jumped out, all of them equipped with weapons from the tank. Nils was wearing his Dark Slayer armour and wielding the Great Dragon Slayer sword. Nils and Nicholas was holding one of Robert's revolvers, each in their hands they had left. Nils had one hook hand, and one of Nicholas's entire arms had been replaced with a spear. Suddenly the entire army of undead corpses were upon them. Nils could smell the rotten flesh and hear them moaning as he emptied out the revolver with 6 headshots going into each of the undead brains. Each of the reanimated corpses fell to the ground, all with exploded brains, some with half their faces missing. Nicholas did the same, or at least tried to. The moaning from the undeads were all he needed to relocate them with his enhanced hearing. He shot 3 shots into the nearest one's body, making its entire torso explode. 3 more were approaching. They were faster than you would think, being undead and all, but not as fast as the young guardian. He raised the revolver and got one in the forehead, turning it from undead to just dead. The next one he got right in the left eye, and now only the last one. He aimed for a headshot, but it moved. Bang! The left half of its face was blown off, but it was nonchalant about it. Still approaching, it opened its mouth, ready for a bite. He almost barfed at the rotten stench coming out of its mouth. He had to drop the revolver to push the undead walker back with his still functioning arm, and penetrated its brain with the spear arm. "Finally killed that fucker!" "It looked like you were in trouble," his best friend told him, as he summoned down a lightning strike from above on the undead masses. The lightning hit fast and hard, obliterating tons of living corpses on impact and turning others into walking torches. "Lighting them on fire will increase their threat level, but also make it easier to see in the dark," Robert said as he rushed towards the undead horde, slicing 5 corpses in half with a big horizontal swing. A corpse was ready to bite him, but he protected himself with a reflective mirror shield and cut its neck off, then proceeded to stomp on its cut off head. Unafraid, Elena rushed to his side, penetrating 3 undead on her spear, like tomatoes on a barbecue stick. An enemy approached from the left, but she quickly split it in half with a horizontal swipe from the angel blade. Nicholas froze a group of 15 corpses in their place with a powerful ice spell he had been charging up. At the same time, Ivana was crawling around on the ground, fumbling for the revolver he had already dropped. She reached for it with her left arm when 2 powerful arms grabbed her. It was a corpse, a big and fat, smelly one. She quickly killed it with a stab to its brain with her silver dagger, but now she was entirely surrounded by corpses. She used her vampire skills to summon a group of bats to attack and distract the horde. Arthur and Firebrand were burning undead left and right to try and make an escape route for her, but to no avail. She heard an intense howling and thought, "A fucking werewolf! Great, just what I needed." A big white furry direwolf sprang out from the darkness. It was at least bigger than any normal wolf Ivana had ever seen. With its big jaws wide open, it rushed to the undead next to her and closed its gap on it by ripping it into pieces. Now was her chance. She stabbed another walker in the brain and then jumped onto the wolf's back. It ran away and she dropped one of the grenades she had taken for Robert's tank. But this sure was an emergency. She had almost become food for zombies. The wolf ran to Nicholas's side. "It must have chosen you for its master. It's your first familiar," she stated the obvious. "Makes sense," the hydromancer responded as he pierced one undead with his spear arm and threw a grenade with his good arm. "You have the same idea as me. No use saving those grenades for later if we are dead later, right?" "Agreed. But now I only have 2 left, and technically I am dead, thanks to you, or at least undead." "Well, would you rather be dead than undead?" she asked as she picked up his revolver and started to load it with bullets from his belt. "Fuck no. Life is too short anyway," he said as he kissed her on the lips. She blushed, but she did not seem to mind. "There is more time for that later," she told him as she started shooting the revolver, killing 3 zombies with 3 shots. "What would happen if a vampire gets bitten by a zombie?" Nicholas asked her. as he summoned bats on the horde and threw his second to last grenade, making zombies and bats both explode. "It doesn't intend to find out," she told him as she emptied out the revolver with 3 more shots. And then she could hear intense laughing of a madman. It was Bertil, the necromancer. Chapter 12. The Necromancer. "Okay team, everyone rush to the tank. We must eliminate the necromancer, or else he will raise the undead all night long." This made sense for the team, and all of the humans got inside the tank. The demon familiars flying above it, shooting flames at the undead, turning zombies into walking torches. The tank running over and squashing corpses, and the big direwolf running alongside it, occasionally jumping up and biting zombies in their faces, penetrating their brains with its long sharp fangs. "I'm naming the wolf Cujo," Nicholas said out of nowhere. Ivana laughed. "How could you think of that at this time?" "I don't know, but it's a cool name." "Alright, Cujo it is," Elena said. "It really is a cool name," Nils joined in on the conversation. The wolf, now named Cujo, ripped the head off a zombie, permanently killing it. The tank had driven right into the middle of the undead horde, but now, surrounded by zombies, it was unable to move, and the electric charged battery was running low. "Well, looks like this is goodbye, my brother," Arthur said to Firebrand. "Wait, you're not really going to... because of humans?" "Bail fire!" Arthur shut his brother up with just one word, causing a powerful fire attack, demolishing all the zombies around the tank and damaging but not destroying the tank itself. Firebrand watched as his brother fell down from the sky, dead. The tank was moving towards the necromancer again, and it was closing in, letting off one shot from the cannon, demolishing a horde of undead in front of it. "Rise, undead scale lord!" The necromancer chanted loudly as the ground opened up in front of them, a long neck sticking up with a big half-rotten, half-scaled face on it, opening its mouth, showing rows of big sharp teeth, longer than Robert the Dark Slayer. "It's a fucking zombie dragon!" Nils screamed. The dragon put the tank into its mouth and began to bite down. "Get ready!" Robert said as he grabbed one hand grenade in one hand and wielded the great sword Dragon Slayer in the other hand. He jumped out of the hatch, followed by the rest of the team. He tried to force the grenade down the dragon's throat, but was unsuccessful. The zombie dragon swiped with one of his front arms, causing him to drop the grenade, making it explode and blowing up the dragon's hand that had just missed Robert. He readied his sword and with one powerful swing cut the dragon's head from its neck. "Good work!" Elena praised him. "But the tank is fucked," Nils complained. "I know, but there is no time to dwell on that. We got a necromancer to kill." Nils walked towards a dual grave with the name Svensson on it. He reacted. Last names were a thing from the old world and had little to no use in these demon-infested days, but he could not help reacting to seeing his own family name on a tombstone, even if it had been a very common name in this region in the old days. He tried to focus to see if he could read the first names, as 2 pairs of arms came crawling up, 2 rotten but once familiar faces coming after. "Nils!" The undead beings, who had once been his mom and dad, said. Nils stood frozen with fear. Just a young boy, he was not ready for this. Elena grabbed him and tried to shake some sense into him. "Snap out of it! These things are not your parents," she said as she penetrated the brain of what had once been Nils' mom with her spear. "No!" Nils screamed. He had still affection for this undead being. The corpse of his father came towards him, hugging him. "My son," it said. It opened its mouth to bite him. Just before it could sink its teeth into the young guardian, its head exploded. "Sorry about that." It was Bruce, the one-armed slayer. He had shot the face off of Nils's zombified father. "Nice to see you again," Robert said to his slayer ally. "Now you can see why I called you here. The situation got a little out of hand," Bruce said. "No shit, even a fucking zombie dragon," Nicholas responded. "So those were your parents, love?" Elena said as she was looking around, reading the tombstones, freezing when she saw her last name, Nilsson. Out of the grave, Elena's mother, a zombified angel, was crawling out. Bruce emptied his revolver but was not fast enough. The angel could still use his wings. It came flying towards him with surprising speed and cut off his only arm that he had left, leaving him armless. "Fuck!" he screamed as he activated his slayer power, morphing into bear form. The bear came rushing towards Elena's mother on its back legs. It caught the zombie angel's left leg in its mouth and began to chew, but the angel cut the bear in half with its sword. "Bruce!" Robert screamed at the loss of his fallen comrade. Elena swung her sword at her zombified mother, but the zombie countered her blows with its own sword. Elena pierced his heart with a spear, but the zombie was unaffected. Nils called down a lightning strike from above, making its head explode, covering his girlfriend with her mother's brains and blood. Robert rushed towards the necromancer, slicing corpses in half and cutting their heads off along the way. He swung the sword at the necromancer, but the necromancer swiped his sword away with his own sword. The necromancer was ready to strike a blow at Robert's throat, but before he could follow through, the slayer uttered one word. "Balefire!" A powerful fire attack destroyed the necromancer and his sword, both leaving nothing left but ashes. All of the zombified corpses dropped dead at the death of their master. Nils went to grab Robert's sword, but it was covered with flying bats, blocking his way. "A little help?" he asked his vampire friends. "Something is wrong. I can't control them," Ivana answered. "Nothing is wrong, my child," Ivana's father said, morphing from a bat into his vampire form, grabbing the sword. "This will be useful," he exclaimed, holding the sword over his head, growing bat wings out of his body and flying away. "Are you okay?" Nils asked worriedly to Robert. "Okay? No. Still alive? Yes." "We must now go to the house that don't exist," Robert responded before passing out. Chapter 13. Heaven. You are lucky to still be alive. Balefire is the ultimate fire spell and it usually kills the user, Firebrand said. "I know. Keep going this way," the weakened Robert answered. He was riding on top of the big dire wolf Cujo because he was too tired to walk himself. "I am hungry," Elena said. In truth, they were all hungry. They had been walking for days after the huge battle at the cemetery, living off whatever they could find, whether it be wild berries, some mushrooms, and even a few animals, if they were lucky enough to find. "What's this?" Nils pointed his finger at a circle glowing white light. "Perfect. It's an angel gate. Elena must go through it because I am too weak and only angels can use it." "Will it be safe?" Nicholas asked, worried. "Don't worry, I'm not a helpless girl, and I still have the angel blade." Elena passed through without hesitation. Nils looked in awe after his girlfriend disappeared into some unknown space. Elena was transported into a place full of white lighting, and she was standing on top of clouds. "Is this heaven?" Elena asked, confused. "Yes, it is, child," a voice answered out of nowhere. "Who are you?" Elena asked, startled, not knowing if she could trust this voice. "Don't be afraid, child. My name is Clara. I am your mother's sister, and in charge of the angels imprisoned in this space." "Imprisoned? How do I free you? And my mother had a sister?" Elena was feeling the answers she got only led to more questions. "Yes, sweet child, you are the child of Gabriel, the angel of death, and my much beloved and unfortunately deceased sister." Elena was thinking about the zombified corpse of her mother and shuddered. "My father is still alive?" "Yes, he is, my sweet sister's child, and you need to find him to free us all." "How many of you are there?" "Sadly, there is only 5 left, but all of us are powerful angelic warriors," Clara answered. "Now I will grant you the power of angelic healing." An orb of bright lighting flew towards Elena. She swung at it with her sword, but it had no effect. It entered her body and fused with her. "Don't worry, child, this is a good power. I can feel it in my body and bones. I trust you, Clara, and I will find my father and free all of the angels trapped in here. Thank you, sweet child. We all trust you and leave our lives in your capable hands. Before you go, take these items to aid you." Elena was offered an angelic spear, shining bright, with a sharp tip made out of pure lightning. An angel armour made of white gold, protecting her fragile body, but also had holes for her wings so she could fly wearing it. She also got a matching helmet and a cup. She lifted it. "Is this—" "Yes, my sweet child, it really is the Holy Grail. Take 1 sip from this and you will not feel hunger or be tired for 1 week. "I cannot thank you enough." "Me and the rest of the angels will thank you when we are free." Elena teleported back to her friends and healed all their wounds and let them drink from the Holy Grail. Way up in the sky, an angel with demonic horns watched.
"So, that's my daughter,"
Gabriel said to himself. Chapter 14. The House That Does Not Exist. "Finally," Robert said. After walking days and nights, they finally arrived. An impossible big house was in front of them, and in front of it, countless dead demons were scattered on the ground. "There is a very protective magic protecting the house. No demons or their kind can enter it, and no normal humans can even see it. Only guardians." "That leaves me out," Firebrand said. "Don't worry, I will stand here and guard you. These are dangerous grounds, as you can see. Many demons try to enter the house all the time." "What is in it?" Nils asked. "Everything and nothing. The house does not exist in this world, but there are other worlds than these." "That's not explaining anything," Elena shouted, angry and confused. "Just enter the house and you will learn," Robert told her firmly, but not unkind. "There are other worlds than these?" Nicholas asked, dumbfounded. "But it's weird. I can see the house too, even though I am not a guardian. Do you think a vampire could ever be a guardian?" Ivana asked. "I am already one," Nicholas answered and laughed. "But it's different. You were already a guardian when I made you a vampire." "I don't know, children. All I know is that you must go now. All will be answered in the house." They walked. Nils first, followed by Nicholas, and then Elena. Lastly, Ivana came, worried. Walking over the line where all the demons were laying dead, and nothing. She was still alive. They walked to an enormous door and Nils knocked on it. It opened by itself, seemingly out of magic. They walked into a large empty hallway. This made no sense. The house was even bigger on the inside.
Things in here don't make sense, children. They don't have to.
A man wearing a wizard hat and matching robe told them. He had a long grey beard and a grey coloured owl on his left shoulder.
I am Merlin, and this is my familiar owl. His name is Archimedes, and this is Colossus.
The wizard pointed his finger at a gigantic stone golem. It was at least the size of the Statue of Liberty that the kids had studied in history books. Wow! It's so huge, Elena said. Very impressive, Ivana noted. But who are you really, and where did you come from? Nils asked the wizard.
I am from another world, similar to this one. In my own way, I am a guardian, just like you. I and my golem guard this door here, so no demons can enter. He pointed his finger at an impossibly big door behind him, made of iron and even bigger than the golem. What is in there? Nicholas asked. Even I don't know that,
the wizard answered. But demons cannot pass through, and even this house anyway. For them, this house truly does not exist, Elena told Merlin.
Well, yes indeed, but demons are tricky. If they somehow find a way in, me and my golem are waiting here for them, in here.
Okay, sweet. So I guess we need to pass through the door, Nils said excitedly. He walked towards it, but it did not open. He knocked on it, but it still did not open.
I guess this is not your door, but there are many doors in the hallway of 1,000 doors.
Hallway? 1,000 doors? What is that? Ivana asked.
We will go there shortly, but first let's go through here. Follow me, kids.
And the kids followed him. They were walking through a hallway full of windows. Nils saw visions of many different worlds. 2 short men carrying a ring to a fiery mountain. A mad blonde girl riding a dragon, burning a city down. A man walking to a dark tower, and then he saw something that really attracted his eyes. He looked into the window and saw a strange sight. A car driving with blue lights on top of it, and 2 men inside. One of them had a name tag. It said Peter Sundberg. They were driving on a snowy road. He could see the word police on the car, and a sign on the road said, "Welcome to Stockholm, Sweden."
Swedish policemen. They live in a world just like yours, but before the demons invaded, what you would call the old world.
Policemen? Ivana said, confused.
Yes, in the old world, these people upheld the law, Merlin answered.
So they're kind of slayers? Nils asked.
That is one way to put it, the wizard answered.
Can we enter there? Nicholas asked.
I am afraid this is only a window, not a doorway, Merlin told him.
They kept walking through the hallway, seeing thousands of windows to other worlds, filled with amazing sights and wonders, but no way for a team to enter. They stopped walking at a golden armour, shining bright.
I guess this one is for you, Merlin told Nils. But there seems to be a problem. It will not fit you if you are one-handed. Now, this will hurt.
He cut off what was left of Nils' arm with a quick sword swing, with a sword that appeared out of nowhere. He then quickly healed Nils's wound, and the owl Archimedes came flying down with a prosthetic robot arm.
Now let me put this on and see if your electrical power can keep it charged so you can use it.
Merlin fused the arm into Nils's arm socket.
Ah, fuck! Fucking shit!
The boy screamed in pain.
Now, try to see if you can move your fingers.
Nils tried, and amazingly it worked. He was so glad to get rid of the old hook hand. Wow, thank you. And I almost cut your head off for decapitating my arm, Nils told the old man.
Yes, that must have hurt like a bitch. But now you are all better. You have tried your new arm. Now let's try your new armour.
Okay, Nils answered and began to undress and then put the armour and the matching helmet on.
Nice,
Nils said happily.
So you like it? Good,
Merlin said.
Now of course, there is one last thing. Archie!
The wizard called on his pet owl, and it came flying, carrying a sword that was made out of a lightning bolt, flowing with electricity, and the edge was shaped like a lightning strike, and it had a steel handle.
This is Stormmaker, a very powerful sword, and you will need it for the door you have to enter. And about that, let's go.
The team followed the wizard and his pet owl along back through the hallway of 1,000 windows and to the hallway of 1,000 doors.
Look here, and you will find 4 doors, one for each of you.
The kids looked around, and Nils spotted a golden door and pointed at it.
That one's mine.
And this one is yours, baby. He pointed to a white door with a white lightning flowing out through the cracks. Yes, let's enter. But first, a good luck kiss. Elena kissed Nils. Nils opened the door and was immediately transported to another world. Nils and Elena were sitting at a dinner table having a fancy dinner of Swedish falukorv cooked from the oven with cheese and crushed tomatoes, onions and tomatoes placed in the slices of the sausage. They ate potatoes with it, and Nils was drinking a Heineken beer. Elena was drinking red wine from the Holy Grail cup. Their 3 children drank Arla milk. Milk makes strong children. It was a warm summer night, which is unusual for Swedish outside of their typical Swedish red house, painted with Fallerud paint. The Swedish flag was blowing in the wind on a flagpole, and the midsummer pole stood erect in the ground, ready for the kids to dance Smagrodona, the little frogs dance, tomorrow. Life truly was perfect. In fact, it was too perfect. But what about the demons? Nils asked his beloved wife. He had almost remembered something. Was it a dream or a vision of a past life? It seemed almost silly. Demons only were in the Bible and those horrible movies. What did you say, honey? Elena asked, confused.
The demons, dear,
Nils said again. But demons not real, Daddy. His oldest son, Frederick, laughed. Yes, Daddy. My brother's correct. His only daughter, Sandra, joined in on the conversation.
At least the youngest one is too small to talk back.
Nils laughed, and his wonderful family joined in on the laughter. I was almost worried that my husband had gone insane. Demons. No more talk about such things at this dinner table, please, or I will have to call a shrink that will give you crazy pills, dear, Elena said, and kissed her husband on his cheek. Yes, dear, everything is so wonderful here. Just one thing. Yes, dear? Maybe demons are real, and this wonderful place is what is not real. Even if it were so, Would you really give up your loving family and this wonderful life to go back to a world destroyed, infected by demons, plague, zombies, and God knows what else kind of monsters?
I would, even if it's horrible. It would be real. And also, this world is not free for demons. There is at least one.
And who would that be, dear?
You!
Niels threw his glass of Heineken at his wife's face, or rather, what had been his wife, as the glass crushed against her face, making shards of glass cut her beautiful skin, making blood drip from her angel-like face. He could see her eyes shift from the wonderful baby blue colour under her perfect eyebrows into a burning red, her perfect white teeth in her Colgate smile shifted into razor-sharp looking fangs, ready to chew his flesh and bones. Her clothes fell off and exposed her naked body and gigantic tits with erect nipples. Of course, this was not Elena. It was a succubus.
Die, you bitch demon!
He screamed while stabbing her heart with the big and sharp kitchen knife. He could see her body shut down as life left it and her heart stopped. Niels! 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 He could hear Elena scream seemingly out of nowhere, out of this world, and he heard intense knocking on the door. Oh, that's right. He thought of the door. How long had he been here? Niels rushed from the demon-spawned children, found the door and exited this dream world, out into the real world, but much older than when he was now, a young man of 17 years. Chapter 15. Road to the Capital. Niels was looking around the room. He saw his friends. They had all returned from their doors, all of them older too. Elena appeared to be 17, Nicholas 2, and Ivana 18 years old.
Time flows different in there,
the wizard Merlin explained to the confused teenagers. Wow, now we are all the same age. Niels hugged and kissed Elena. And I am a grown-up too. I thought it would never happen, since vampires don't age, Ivana said. Wow, that is lucky for you, and me too, said Nicholas, and kissed Ivana.
Well, if you are done kissing,
Merlin said, and handed them a box full of weapons. Revolvers, pistols, crossbow with bolts, grenades, and even a twin pair of Uzi submachine guns. Call dibs on those, Ivana said, picking up the Uzis. Merlin handed her a sword with a scabbard to hang on her back.
This sword belongs to you. It's the flaming blade. Use it wisely.
Cool, and I will.
Now for you.
Merlin cut Nicholas's pole arm off and inserted a gun arm in its place.
Oh fuck! That hurts!
Wish you would stop cutting people's arms off, or at least ask before you do it.
Pfft, I'm a wizard. Have no time to dilly-dally and waste. And also, you should thank me. I just upgraded you with the latest gun arm. You can now shoot plasma beams. It is much better than what you had before, surely. Just ask your friend Niels to charge it for you.
Nicholas did, and Niels did charge it for him.
Now, you need to hurry. I think your friends are in trouble.
The team stepped outside and saw Cujo with the demon's arm ripped off in between its huge jaws. The demon was lying on the ground, and Robert killed it by stomping its head hard, smashing its brains. The Dark Slayer was shooting his revolvers left and right, but was running out of bullets. The demon Firebrand was flying high, burning enemies alive. They died screaming. Ivana joined the fight, shooting her twin submachine guns into the crowd, killing a group of Satanist humans working for the demons. As she emptied out both clips, now she was surrounded by corpses of drooling undead. She looked around, but none of her friends could help her. They were all battling enemies. God, there were so many of them. Humans, zombies, vampires, and who knew what else. And then it happened. No one knew how or why, but the Guardian gene activated. But it did at just the right time for Ivana. She let out 2 bursts of fires using her hands as flamethrowers as her ability of pyromancy was awakened. She stood with her enemies' charred bodies surrounding her, maybe 20 of them. She could smell the smoke and burnt flesh as she pulled her sword out of the scabbard and pierced the heart of a vampire. It fell to the ground dead, and burning, setting aflame corpses walking by. She cut another one in half and cut the head off of a third one, when suddenly a zombified brown bear attacked, biting her sword arm. Hordes of undead were approaching slowly. Firebrand was flying above, setting a few of them on fire, but there were simply too many. Ivana, watch and learn. Only use this spell if you absolutely have to. Balefire! The demon obliterated the bear and the corpses surrounding Ivana, sacrificing himself for her. His winged but dead body came falling down from the sky. I cannot believe it. He gave his life for a human. Well, a vampire, but still, Robert said. He was by her side now. A Medusa demon approached Robert. Using the mirror shield to set surrounding enemies to stone, anyone who saw the face of the ugly bitch demon was instantly petrified. Fuck! She got snake hair! I fucking hate snakes, Ivana said. Yes, but she was useful. Look at all our enemies, turned into stone statues all around us. But now I fear her use has come to an end, the Slayer said as he threw the mirror at the ugly bitch demon with snakes for hair. He hit her in the forehead and crushed her skull, killing the fucking bitch. Elena was flying high, dropping grenades on enemies below. She was working like an old world bomber plane, making zombies, humans and vampires all explode in blood and guts below her, making their body parts fly through the air. 3 man-bats approached her. These ugly beasts were half man, half bat, with giant wings for arms and sharp vampire-like teeth ready for blood-sucking. Angelic lightning! She shot one of them with a lightning attack coming out of the tip of her spear, leaving a big hole in the man-bat's chest where its heart should be. The next one had its mouth open. She pierced him through its mouth with a spear, killing it. The third one was approaching fast, with its mouth drooling, thinking only of tasting her sweet angel blood. One throwing dagger in each eye blinded the sucker. I heard bats are blind. I'm sure you cannot see shit now. A third dagger going for the poor bastard's throat ended its suffering as it fell to the ground with a gurgling sound, blood flowing from its throat. The suffering for Elena, on the other hand, had only just started. The winged demon lord Gargos was suddenly behind her, ripping her wings apart. Screaming, she fell to the ground. Nils was hacking enemies apart, left and right. Living or undead, it made no difference for his sharp blade. All his opponents fell to the ground, with no breath and without a pulse. He could see a mob approaching Elena, with a huge troll behind them. He summoned a lightning bolt from above, making the mob explode and catching fire to the demons and humans, all dying, screaming in front of Elena. The troll, though, was still coming for her. Nicholas was attacked by werewolves, so he put his now plasma arm cannon to use, hitting one of them, making its torso explode into a fountain of blood, leaving only its legs standing. He used a freezing spell to encase the others in ice. Guardians, come to me! Robert screamed. They all needed to gather in place to combine their powers. The troll stood in front of Elena now, ready to step on her head. But before its foot landed, the giant direwolf Cujo ripped its ballsack off with its teeth. In anger, the troll picked up the big wolf and ripped it into 2 parts with its hands. Gabriel was watching from afar. Seeing the troll go for his daughter, he had no choice.
Lightning storm!
The ultimate lightning attack was set in motion, just like the ultimate fire spell, Balefire. This one worked in a similar fashion, taking the user's energy life from them, taking away years and often killing the user. The troll and all other remaining monsters were struck by lightning, killing them in an instant. Gabriel died with a smile upon his lips. Gargos flew away with its tail between its legs. The team was healed by Elena and drank from the Holy Grail, burying their dead demon and wolf friends. In heaven, the angel lock was broken as Gabriel's soul left his half demon, half angel body, freeing Clara and the rest of the angels. Don't forget, if you enjoyed that story, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. I'm sure they really would appreciate it. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Oh, and don't forget to share the video far and wide. This will all help with YouTube's algorithm and will help to promote this channel more. And don't forget to check out the merch store. The link will be in the description and also in the video thumbnail. And if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with your purchase and I'll feature it in one of the videos. I now have my very own subreddit community where you can submit any stories you've written. You can submit your stories or encounters either there or send them to cryptidsroost@gmail.com. If you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. All the links are below. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, and you'll also find me on Discord. If you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that will also be below.